All right. Been meaning to launch a new channel on a whole bunch of the home projects I've been doing. So I may make some past videos about some other projects, but wanted to jump in and show you the work in progress master bathroom remodel. So this is from the master bedroom. This is the hallway into it. That's the walk-in closet on the left-hand side and like a linen closet on the right. You see the floor, put this in, even tucked that carpet myself. Pretty happy with that. Picked this tile up at Tile for Less. We actually did a Schluter heated floor underneath on a wireless timer, a Wi-Fi enabled timer, I mean to say. These are IKEA cabinets. My wife and I designed it. That's actually an IKEA countertop, and that mirror was actually already here. That light was originally a brown wood light, which we took down and my wife painted and put that back up. There was a built-in cabinet over there, which we took out, and I think I'm going to build in a new one in the end. This is the toilet area. Currently, that's my storage for construction, but obviously we pulled the toilet out to do all the new tile. All the trim we added ourselves. We did new doors and new trim when we moved into the house. Over here is where the toilet is going to be. We did not change the layout, so everything has stayed the same. So the toilet, which I'll show you in a second because it's been sitting in the master bedroom for 2 months. The bathtub, excuse me. The bathtub is going to go there. And then this is this plastic's, wait. This is going to be the master shower corner. Lots of mistakes for any of you tile experts out there, you'll notice, but best efforts. So did Wedi, W-E-D-I, it's a German company. So we did a pre-sloped, it's just like a foam big piece that you put in there. I might have a few pictures. I wish I had more because it's actually a beast and it took a long time to figure out for an amateur. But and of course that's just black penny tile. And I can show you the grout later because I have more of it. And then it's like a pre-mixed grout that's actually super nice. It took me a while to figure out how to I was really nervous about doing this. So I can talk back through that if anyone's interested, how to get this in and get it level, the drain piece. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but honestly, I haven't run water over it since I finished the grout. So I'm hoping it doesn't bead too much around it and then everything actually slopes in. But it was a hard time. I had a hard time getting the tile up high enough, but not being too high, if you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, but hopefully it all flows nicely. Quick explanation over here. It may seem awkward how we stopped the tile. The reason we did this is just because we were trying to keep the project moving and not lose momentum. I actually used some screws here to keep tiles in place and keep them level. It's all set now. I did this 3 weeks ago. But we actually are going to do a granite seat here top, a seat top here. So, but we haven't actually gotten that ordered. There was some disruption, just like family stuff. And then we also, obviously we're kind of now in quarantine, so that's kind of slowed things down. But my thought is to get that installed and then we'll finish the tile around it. Yep, we'll ignore the trouble wall. Over here, you can see we did the built-ins again using the Wedi products, which honestly were pretty easy to work with. This is just a Home Depot brand of siding. But Schluter also makes this. It's got a few nicks in it, which I think I'll try to touch up with like a Sharpie because it's just black. Did the matching penny tile here, so put that in first, and then did these on the side, the same tiles right here on the side. And I actually pre-cut all of these. Not perfect cuts. I had a hard time with it. I used my old miter saw for it and just went slow. I think it's not the correct blade, truth be told. But it did good enough. And then I think when I grout, I'll just get a little bit of grout in there to just kind of hold everything in tight. So, because I'm going to do the same grout from the floor is actually going to come in here, and then the same grout for this. So the same grout should hopefully kind of tie it all together. Couple of the challenges that didn't quite work out like I would have liked. When I measured, I thought the tile was going to fit perfect. But then, of course, I don't know if I just left my gap too big at the bottom. Excuse me, or if it's the fact that the tile was wavy, or if I just am not very good at measuring, but I ended up having to like notch this out slightly to get because it was actually going to touch. And I wanted to get a consistent edge of grout around it. So again, if you're, hopefully for your project, you measure a little better than I do. And the net result is, because these tiles are like almost perfectly the right size for what I need, I end up with a small, with a gap here that's going to be a real pain to get some tile in, but it's too small to just, it's too big to just grout. So I think I do have some slivers of tile. I'm going to try to work something in here to make it look better. I'm a little frustrated with that aspect of the project, but what are you going to do? So at this point, and then this one as well, you can see I had to notch it. Any questions about how to do those notches? I can tell you how I did it, which was honestly the wrong way to do it. I guess I'll just walk you through it. So I actually did the where you just kind of move it into the blade repeatedly. So you're like constantly doing that, doing a bunch of like tiny cuts. And then I did like a long, like sideways cut against the blade, which is not the right way to do it. So my wet saw actually, I just was being dumb one night and I forgot that you can actually loosen it and lift it up and slide the tile under, and you can do a drop-in cut. And so I should have done a drop-in cut for most of it, and then I could have just done a finish up, against the front edge. I'll show you on the saw later for anyone who has questions. But so because of that, if you look like really close, it's a lot bumpier than it should be. So a little frustrated with that. This cut was pretty tough for me to get it right, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Again, I wish, maybe I had done some more precise measurements in advance, so I didn't need these big L cuts, or the Oklahoma cuts. Yeah, there they are. This got set, you can't really tell in the video, but it's set a little bit deeper, and this guy's a little more out. Again, I wish that was a little better, but the first one that I put in here, I pushed too hard trying to get these like perfectly matched. You can't see in the video, maybe like this, but my finger actually hits right there. But when I tried to get it pushed on in, I actually broke the first one and had to go back and redo it. And once you've recut a tile you've broken a couple times, you're not inclined to keep doing that. So, but then took it all the way up to the ceiling. You can see I had to do some thin cuts up there and did a small piece of the edging, the Schluter, I don't know what it's called, but anyway, the edging right there. Added 2 4-inch lights. Myself, a lot of debate about how deep those should be and which side. That's here, I can pull back. That's what we ended up with for the lighting. We chose to go on the front side, so closer, and then split the shower head. So if other people have recommendations, let me know. This is going to be for a handheld here, and then a single shower head there, and then a valve that will let you do 3 positions. So the top, the handheld, or both. And then of course, volume here. And I think if I recall, this one does temperature and volume separate, which I like, because I like to have different amounts of volume and not have that dependent on the temperature, if that makes sense. Temperature static? No, there's a term for it. Anyway, and then over here actually has a real challenge, because there was a stud right here that so the mistake I made was I put this on and I just was like, okay, it's a wall, it's fine, and started drilling and puttying and doing all this weedy stuff, and like everything was great, I thought. But it turns out I had a stud right here that was like a snake. Like it bowed probably a good almost an inch. I think it was like 3/4 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch out, and I ended up having to cut this, and then I actually used my oscillating tool and went in and cut it down, and had to cut it down multiple times. And then I'll have to find it, but if I get my big level out, you can see it's not perfect. So like, a pro would probably have done quite a bit better job, but it's definitely not coming off the wall 3/4 of an inch like it was. So currently I'm thinking I'm going to bring the tile all the way out to here, because it makes this job easier, covering all this up. Although it's definitely tempting to stop here and then just, I don't know, do some texture, but I'm not the best at texture. I think I'm better at tile than texture. So anyway, yeah, so that's how it's coming together. That is a 48 by 48, so a 4x4 foot pan square. That's a little bit bigger than what was there before, so I think it'll be a decent size. The latest plan we talked about was to take this tile up on the side, and then for when we order the granite for that, I think it's going to be granite. No, is it granite? I don't know. I'll have to ask her. Quartz. I think maybe quartz, because I think quartz stands up to water better. So I think quartz for there, and then we're going to match it here and get a curb put in, hopefully. So. And then this is the chandelier that my wife found and I put in. And then this is a wall that I really screwed up. So if you are ever, want to feel better about yourself, I mixed the thinset a little too dry, and I didn't back butter the tile, which if you don't know what back buttering is, we can talk about that another time. But I was just trying to go fast, so I slapped tile on the wall, and I had an experience once where I mixed the thinset way too thin, and it was just like tile was drooping and falling, and it was a real nightmare, and it was really messy. So this time I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I mixed it, but I went too far, and I mixed it too dry. So you can actually see, if I get up a little bit closer, you can see here, even the coloration, like it just didn't dry even, and it squished the ridges down, but they didn't grip the tile. And in fact, I bet if I just pushed on some of these tiles, I could probably pop another one off. Those two were the worst, but yeah, they actually came off pretty easy. I was just like checking tiles and they came off. So, I'll reset those. Again, this wall is just cosmetic because the bathtub is going to be here, so I'm not overly stressed about it, but it really is honestly a poor job. So, and then the other problem I had here too, I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but I made the bad assumption. And this is not my first rodeo, but I've made the bad assumption that this wall was level, and it's not. It actually bows in quite a bit. And you can see it if you go here. That edge of tile is actually pretty straight up and down if I put the level on it. So it's pretty straight up and down, but the wall actually moves in. And so I'm going along doing my happy thing, thinking everything's fine, because my original plan was to take small pieces of tile and put them in here, right? And so then you just cover up all this nasty edge of wall from the demo, and you bring it all the way up to here, and it matches and it's fine. But now the problem I have is that this tile hangs out so much. I think it's almost a full inch here, that when I put the tile in, it's not gonna line up. So my first choice plan, I think at this point, is to fill in here, essentially shim it, and bring that tile up so that it's just even, and move on with my life, and probably put like a little cap piece on top. Otherwise, plan B is honestly rip it all off and redo it. And plan C is to get a tool and just cut it as best you can to like make it straight to the wall. So anyway, honestly, I don't really know what a pro would have done better. So if there's a pro out there who says, oh yeah, I know how to solve this problem, I'd love to hear it. So, anyway, but yeah, so that's the problem I've ended up with. I'll figure out some hack for it. And then hopefully in the future I can, do a better job. But anyway, so this is the bathroom remodel so far. There you can see the, bathtub hiding over there. I intentionally got one that would pretty much fill the space. So it's only going to have like 1.5 inches, I think, and 1.5 inches on each side. And then there's going to be a filler in the back corner, which is often another corner of the bedroom. So anyway, this is the project to date. I'm hoping to live stream when I'm doing tile on the wall, honestly, just for fun, because we're in quarantine and bored. Anyway, leave me some comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to leave me some tips as well. Or if you have some videos that, hey, talk about some of the challenges here, please point me to them, because I can show you me. So anyway, so if you have some tips or some videos, please point me to them. I would love, love some tips on how to solve that wall or anything else. And yeah, we'll go from there. Anyway, thanks for watching.